Now we're going to tell you about this backroom refugee deal. Nearly 2,500 refugees from some terrorism hotspots around the world headed now here to the United States after, and this is the key, after being rejected by Australia. Now, some lawmakers are demanding answers, as you might suspect, but the State Department has actually classified details on their resettlement. Here now to talk about it, Don Barnett, Center for Immigration Studies, where he's a fellow. Don, begin, if you can, by explaining this to me. Who are these people? Where are they from? And why did Australia reject them?
Well, basically, this is a group from all over the world that's been boating into Australia for at least 2 or 3 years. And Australia has a policy where they're not accepting anybody by boat because they were getting a large number of boaters and there was deaths and so on and so forth. And they've stopped that by this policy. And their policy basically says you arrive by boat, you get hauled out to one of these two island nations, Nauru and Manus. And they have collected there. They have not really been vetted as whether they are legitimate refugees or not.
Right.
But basically, up to 2,000, mostly male, probably about 90% single male, have been collected on this island. And the U.S. has come along and basically agreed to take them.
Why?
My first question.
Well, why is that? There's obvious questions there, but why, as I mentioned when I was introducing you, is some of this information now as we try to learn more about this? Australians reject them, they're coming here. Why is some of that, or much of it, classified? Do you know that?
Honestly, I don't know, but it has the potential for making the story much worse than perhaps it really is. I think the numbers can be blown up and everything. That's a very good question. I found the same thing, that getting an exact feel for the numbers is, I mean, it's going to be known eventually because they, by law, do have to record refugees as they come in and where they come from.
Because on the one hand, they could, if we knew more about it, you might say, well, these people are okay. It was just because of the issue in Australia was the boats, right? But if we don't know, then you start to fill in the blanks yourself, or at least ask more questions, right?
Yeah, and furthermore, Australia has agreed to this totally bizarre exchange, as sort of like trading cards, of taking potluck with a group of refugees from Central America. Right. Basically, they have said, okay, we will, if you take these off of our hands, and in fact, we'll take this group from Central America. Makes me wonder, well, what is it that what makes these people so undesirable?
Right.
Or again, if there was a truthful and open
if it was more transparent, we would know, and then we wouldn't be asking as many. Don, we have to go.
It's very strange. It's very strange, and the fact that it went on for months, and it was just broke. The story broke after the election. I'm assuming they thought it would be a negative for the election. Maybe it had broken prior to the election.
I'll tell you what, we'll follow up on it, and maybe we'll learn more in the coming weeks and months. But Don Barnett, thank you very much. We appreciate it.
Thank you.